Hello and welcome to Britball with the Breens episode 3. As normal, we'll take you through this week's past results and we'll look forward to this week's fixtures coming forward. Few big scorelines this week, a few tough games, and we'll look forward to see if we have some more next week. We haven't got many fixtures next week, but we'll take a look through them anyway. So, Chris, to start off with, okay, we have last week. Tamworth Phoenix did one over the Wolves, 40-0 at half time, I believe. Wolves missing their defensive captain after he was ejected for a hit last week that was, by the rules, probably an injection, but it was a bit soft.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you've watched the the now banned mic'd up episode, we'll obviously see the ejection. It's a tough one to call. Wouldn't like to be the one throwing the flag, that's for sure. Wouldn't like to be the one making that decision. But what I'm led to believe as well, they also lost their starting quarterback during the game. It's a tough ride, especially against the Tamworth team that are starting to look back to sort of their rampant best as well. They took no prisoners in the first half and obviously took the second half to work on a lot of things that they could. A strong win for Tamworth in the end.
A really good win there for them, especially away from home. The Merseyside Nighthawks were the surprise of the week, really. Only 12% of the Britball nation thought they would win, including us. I thought Manchester would win this one. We've always known that the Nighthawks will put up points, but to put up that many points against the Manchester side that normally put up points themselves and are pretty good on defence was a bit of a shock to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think when in any game where you put up 33 points and you're still beat by 17 is a bit terrifying. I think, we both picked Manchester. It was on us, but I think, we're coming out of a week where Manchester won 7-0.
Yeah.
So you're asking questions about the offence and what they're going to do there, and the offence responds with 33 points, and then you surrender 50 the week after giving up nothing. It's a bit difficult to judge at the moment. I think it was a bit of a surprise, but at the same token, as we've said, we always expect Merseyside to put up points and put on a big performance and a big statement win over the Manchester Titans.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we've seen Manchester before. They do put up a lot of points, but conceding 50, I know they're away from home, but I still think they'll take that loss pretty bad, especially after it looked so strong their first game. In the Prem South, Kent didn't fare as well as we thought they would. We thought it would be a bit closer, but the London Blitz blew them away.
I think that's more of a London Blitz score. That's what we expect to see from the London Blitz. We hadn't seen it to this point.
Yeah.
And if you asked at the start of the season, a 42-7 loss for Kent against the Blitz, would you be disappointed? Probably not. Obviously, I'm sure Kent will be, but at the end of the day, I think that's says more about the Blitz team making progress again rather than Kent.
Yeah, and it's away from home for the Blitz, so that was a really strong performance, and it's be interesting to see how they do the rest of the season now. Farnham Knights actually put some points on the board, but still fell 39-13 to the London Olympians. Again, the Olympians over the last few weeks have shown they can score points, but if Farnham are able to put 13 up on you and Kent put points up on you, that has to be their concern when they go play the London Blitz and Warriors. Saying that, they played the London Blitz, only gave up 21. So, not quite sure where the Olympians are at just now. It's a bit of a close one.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess as long as I get the wins, that's all that matters at this point anyway. I mean, obviously they narrowly lost to the Blitz last week, but it's still a strong win. Farnham will be pleased to get points on the board, but at the moment they're being cut off from that division at the way things are going, so hopefully they can pick it up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and something that will be interesting in the next couple of weeks is London Warriors thumped Bristol 38-0. Now, I say thumped, I mean the Warriors in times have beat them by a lot more than that, but to beat them to 0 again, Bristol not putting up any points, has to be a worry when they go play Farnham.
Yeah, I mean, they'll now be looking at that game as sort of a must-win scenario, and that's never where you want to be this early in the season, but it's the reality of it. As you say, it's you almost feel a little bit bad saying that the Warriors should win by more, but it's what you've come to expect from the programme. So, 38-0 is a solid victory. Let's not beat around the bush with it, but you still almost expected to see more points from them.
Yeah, and to be honest, we don't know if their A team was playing. You know what I mean? They could have been A team for first quarter, etc. But we don't have that insight, so we don't know. And the NFC 1 North, again, won't speak too much about it because it's our division. However, Northumberland really put one on Gatehead. Turnover fest. Watched it live. Turnover for both teams. Northumberland in the first quarter turned it over, and then Gateshead turned it over time and time again. So, a big scoreline there for Northumberland. And then one that we thought would be a lot closer than this, Glasgow Tigers versus East Kilbride, losing 14-47. I said, I thought this would be a lot closer. I thought that it'd be... The Scottish games are known for being tight, gritty, defensive battles. This one doesn't seem like it was anywhere near that.
No, and also, by what we've read as well, East Kilbride had a different quarterback in, making his first senior start as well. And I believe he threw 3 touchdown passes in this game. I mean, is there a better way to make your debut in the senior setup than throwing 3 touchdown passes in your city rivals? I don't think so.
Yeah, there is. He won the MVP as well.
Well, so that's fair.
I don't think you get a much better start than that.
No, absolutely. So
what we've discussed will be interesting is, what do they do with their quarterback situation now?
Well, that's one for them to solve.
Yeah.
I mean, they've obviously got a long-standing veteran there as well. Maybe this is sort of an enhanced passing attack we're going to see from them as well, which is terrifying going forward, you have to admit.
Yeah. The NFC 1 South, Lancashire Wolverines bounced back, had a really good win against Doncaster. I know Doncaster are struggling, but even then, to put 52 points up, a burger up against Doncaster Mustangs. And I must say one thing for Lancashire: your uniforms are sweet, like really sweet. So they've definitely that going for them. So scoring 52 points after getting rid of their offensive coordinator, we'll wait and see if that continues.
Yeah, it's a good response. It's not the team I would choose to judge it on. As we spoke about, we know Doncaster are struggling, but what lies to be seen with Lancashire is whether they carry that kind of point scoring into their other games. But it's a good win to get back on track.
Yeah, it is. And as suspected, when we said last week, Chester Romans versus Shropshire, a very close battle again. These teams always seem to battle it out. 22-16 win for Shropshire, which again a really good result for them. They're sitting pretty decent behind Sandwell at the moment. SFC 1 Central, Portsmouth Dreadnoughts 7, Sussex Thunder 42.
I mean, it's a great bounce back for Sussex. They've had 2 very close games, very disappointing results from a Sussex perspective, and I think we were a bit blown away by the score. I think, given Portsmouth running Hertfordshire close and Sussex being close with them as well, we kind of expected a similar close, cagey, low scoring possibly game, but 42-7 is just such a big result, and again another key win to getting Sussex back on track.
And poor Portsmouth seem to have got the anger of the 2 Sussex losses the week before. However, after calling Sussex out for their tackling last week, Portsmouth, tackling, seen that massive touchdown run. Anyway, SFC 1 East, Cambridgeshire Cats continued to win. They were 21-7 against the Wembley Stallions. I believe you had some contact with them.
Yeah, I spoke to somebody from the Cats who just talked me through the basis of their game, and they went up by 3 scores early on. They actually, I believe, they lost 2 centres in that game. Their starting one suffered a really bad injury, so I hope he recovers quickly. It's a good win. It's a gritty win. It's those kind of wins at this point in the season that you really want to be getting. and it really starts that division there becomes extremely exciting to watch. Between all the close games, nobody's really getting blown away in any games, and that's what you want to see. Nice contested games.
Yeah, and I mean, something we said last week about the Solent and Sussex and Hertfordshire, Portsmouth division. This one looks just as good, if not better. I mean, the other game in this division, London Hornets, came from 2 scores behind to win 19-13 against Bury. So Cambridgeshire, Wembley, London, Bury. I mean, that's some division as well. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. I said the London Hornets last week. The London Hornets ran the XLs really close last season. So I expect them to be strong. Obviously, Bury taking a step down from the Prem. So that's really a division to watch, especially since Bury were away from home. NFC 2 North, Clyde Goliath starting to put up some points in offence. They won 34-13 versus the other rookie team, Darlington's team.
Yeah, they'll be pleased with that result. They have been putting up some points in their games, and they obviously got a strong result against Carlisle, and I think that maybe helped them in this kind of game. They've experienced a game where they were able to run what they want to run, do their offense operating as it should, and they've kind of carried that through and got a really good win against Darlington.
Yeah, and they'll be happy with that because that's their other rookie team, and obviously with the situation with Carlisle now going and withdrawing from the league, these two will be fighting out for, I would guess, will be fighting out for 3rd and 4th place in that division. NFC 2 Central, Halton Spartans put up 35-14 against Leeds. Now, we weren't sure what Leeds we were going to get. To be fair, the Halton Spartans were at home. 35-14 isn't as bad as I actually thought it might be.
I mean, I think out of the teams that have to play this year, that was the game that you sort of circled and said that's going to be the game for them. They have to make a statement there, and it's a closer game, but it's still a good win, from Halton's point of view, and it just sets them out as clearly the leader in that conference. I don't think there's anyone sort of that can really challenge them for that now.
No, it'll be interesting to see how close Leeds can get when they're at home, but I still don't see them beating Halton all season. And then, I knew as soon as I picked this last week this would happen. Nottingham Raiders beat Infernus Phantoms 20-14. As soon as I put that pick in, I said to this show last week, I just have the feeling that Nottingham are going to beat them, and they did. And again, this just shows you the difference, because Nottingham went from a really, really good win, then they got thumped, and now they're back up with a good win against Infernus, who were in the playoffs last year. So we just don't know where they're at. But frustrating one for me, having picked that one, and then regretted it immediately. But really, another good win for Nottingham. That's them got the 2 already this season.
Yeah,
more than they've won in the last however many seasons, is it?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a close game as well. Again, it's the kind of contested games you want to see. And I guess it just shows that Nottingham and Infernus, they're kind of on that same level with each other. Again, it was in Nottingham. Would the scoreline flip in Infernus? We'll kind of see later on in the season, but it was a good win for Nottingham.
Yeah. NFC 2 South, Crewe Railroaders 12 and Staffordshire Surge 32. Okay, nothing we didn't quite expect here. Crewe were at home, but Staffordshire, I think, are just a bit too strong for them at the moment. And then the reverse fixture from Humbert Warhawks versus the Birmingham Bulls. Again, the Bulls conceding zip. They've conceded absolutely nothing all season so far, which doesn't come as a surprise to me and you. Haven't seen their defence last year in the playoffs. But again, another solid win.
Yeah, it's a good win. As you just pointed out, defence conceding no points over 3 games is unreal. We've experienced that defence firsthand. I've experienced that defence firsthand. Probably still bear some of the scars as a result. They're not going to concede many points this year. I don't think it takes a genius to work that out. They're a very strong defensive unit, and they're putting up points as well, and they're a team to watch out for in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would think so. SFC 2 West, Bristol Apache 21, South Wales Warriors 46. Now, Bristol Apache were at home. I'm not surprised at the scoreline. The Bristol Apache can be up and down, but South Wales Warriors definitely look like one of the teams to beat in the South Division this season. SFC2 South, the Swindon Storm blew Hastings Conquerors away. I don't quite know why Hastings keep getting a mention as to credit where credit's due. Why? Why is credit due?
I mean, we didn't learn anything about Swindon from the game.
No.
And, it's one we'll look at later with who they're playing this week, that I don't put any weight on a 64-0 win, which quite frankly is a horrendous statement to have to make.
Yeah.
Normally when a team wins by that much, you're singing their praises from the rooftops about what a great win that is, but I just don't read too much into it. It's another big loss for Hastings, and I don't see anything changing anytime soon.
No, and I had a look into some of their stuff this week, and they are so close to Sussex Thunder. Like, you could throw a stone from Sussex to Hastings. So there's no wonder that they struggle for player recruitment and all this kind of stuff. But as you said, 64-0, you'd be going, what a win. And I guess we've learned this from Nottingham, win 39-0, get thumped 74-0. So this can happen. So yeah, right, we've not really learned much about the Swindon in this game. However, London Blitz B versus Bournemouth, again, win by 1 score.
Yeah, and I kind of shouted out at the end of sort of last week, I expected this one to be a high-scoring affair after the first game where they met, and well, it didn't quite pan out that way, but from a 6-point win for the Blitz B to a 7-point win, it's one of those. It's, if you're Bournemouth, you're disappointed you didn't get it over the line, but it's not a bad loss.
No.
London Blitz are arguably going to be the best team in that division. We're still yet to find out for sure, but maybe, it certainly looks that way.
Maybe even the best team in the south.
And on top, it's very close games with them. And Bournemouth, for me, are definitely a team to keep an eye on. They've run them close twice. It's about not getting too despondent with those 2 losses and using them to build on their games going forward.
Yeah. And finally, in the SFC2 East, we are not going after the Maidstone Pumas this week, and there's a reason for this. So, Maidstone Pumas lost 25-0 to the East Kent Mavericks. I've seen a post this week about East Kent Mavericks being a bit angry about being shifted into Division 1 with a lot of rookie players. I can understand the frustration and stuff, but Maidstone finally put some stuff in their social media that we looked at as a positive.
Yeah, they're players, and they're recruiting coaches as well, and recruiting players is great, and you need to retain them as well, but coaches is a huge part. Players stay because of the coaching they receive, and if they're not getting the quality coaching, then they want to go elsewhere, especially down there where there are a lot of teams in areas that you can get to. Perhaps it's testament to the fact that the scores are more in the 20s rather than in the 40s, 50s and 60s like Hastings. So as long as that progress can keep going and keep moving forward, then we might see them starting to compete in games going forward.
And 2 of the players, or 2 of the people they recruited, were from Sussex, and Sussex and Maidstone are not close. So they managed, by the looks of it, a father and a son coach and a player. So again, these things take time to get into set, but by the end of the season we could see them challenging some of the other lower teams in that division. So that wraps up the results from the last week. Okay, looking forward to the fixtures. There's not many this week, so we'll crack on with it. Although we have one missed off fixture from the website, will not say their name, but it's the other side of Marvel. So first of all, we have the Giants at home versus Tamworth. Not expecting very much in this game. Saying that, the Giants do have a good defence. They don't give up huge amounts of points. But Tamworth now seem like they're on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, and I think when Tamworth are on a roll, I don't see many teams that can stop them. And probably one of the only teams is currently situated in London. I can't see this going any other way than a Tamworth win.
Yeah, same. I think the worry was last year where they lost their QB and everything. I think folk looked at them and said, how are they going to do? I think they're starting to answer the questions pretty simple. The other game, Manchester Titans at home to Edinburgh Wolves. Now, this is going to be very interesting because with the amount that Merseyside beat Edinburgh by was almost identical to the amount they beat Manchester by. Manchester are at home, Edinburgh getting their defensive captain back, and we know they might not have a quarterback there, but this could be a close one. I suspect that Manchester will probably pip this one, but a week ago I'd have said Manchester were going to win this one. Now, not so sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I think it's all of a sudden become a lot more of an interesting game. It's in Manchester, and I think that'll be the deciding factor of this. I think it'll be close, but I see Manchester winning.
Yeah, I'd agree. Prem South, the London Warriors have their first visit from Kent Exiles. Seeing what the Blitz did to Exiles at home last week, I would expect this one to be a decent victory for the Warriors. But it might not end up a burger. I think Kent are going to put up a fight all season, so it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. The second one, the Farnham Knights versus London Blitz. Oh dear God, that could get nasty. I guess the only thing for Farnham is they're at home.
Yeah, obviously with putting up their first points last week as well, they'll be looking to build on that. Perhaps not the best team to look to build on from, unfortunately, but you know, I can't see this going any other way than London Blitz getting a win, even on the road.
Yeah. In the NFC 1 North, again, we'll not say much. Yorkshire Rams versus Northumberland Vikings. Having watched the Vikings last week, good offensive line, good defensive line, and one positive, I guess, of Carlisle Folding is they've managed to recruit some of those players. Seen they recruit a coach and a wide receiver this week. So I guess there's a positive from that situation. So I can't see it going anywhere but Northumberland in this one.
No, well, they seem to be getting better week on week as well, and that's kind of where you want to be, is a team that gets better heading towards the playoffs. You know, that's kind of what they're aiming for, and yeah, I can see Northumberland winning this game.
Yeah. The other game, Gateshead Senators versus us. We'll say nothing but, a 6-hour bus journey, yay.
When you live in Aberdeen, every bus journey is a trek.
Yeah, so we'll say nothing more about that game. The NFC 1 South, the Nottingham Caesars versus Doncaster Mustangs. Now, Caesars again have been a kind of a hit or miss this season. Normally they're a middle of the pack team, but they've had some good results. I think they'll beat Doncaster comfortably. Yeah,
I don't foresee an upset here. You know, you're never 100% sure what you're getting from Nottingham, but I don't see Doncaster doing anything to change the result from being a Caesars win.
Then we have in the SFC 1 Central, the Oxford Saints versus Hertfordshire Cheetahs. Now, a few people think this is going to be a close one. I'm not so sure. I know that Hertfordshire are away from home, but I think they will win this one by 3+ scores.
I think, you know, Oxford are obviously a well-established Division 1 team. I think the point to mention here is that Hertfordshire have not only come up from Division 2 to Division 1 and competed straight away, they've came up and they've hit the ground running. They're winning games. You know, they're causing big upsets, if you can consider the Sussex Thunder game an upset. And realistically, they're now putting themselves in that picture where, you know, are they a playoff team? And these kind of games are probably the ones that are going to decide that. I think Hertfordshire are going to have enough, and I think it'll be closer than you think, but I do believe Hertfordshire will get it done.
The SFC 1 East, the Colchester Gladiators versus Bury Saints. Bury on the road for the second week in a row, but I can't see them struggling with Colchester.
No, I mean, we've not seen much of Colchester either, though, which is obviously a problem. Try to judge which way this is going to go, but I think Bury Saints are still a strong team. You know, they're in a very strong division, and all the games are extremely close. I think Bury win this game.
Okay. NFC 2 South. Now, although others games of the week are up, I think this will be the game of the week. Reading into Crewe Railroaders versus Humbert Warhawks. Crewe put up 12 points against Staffordshire at home. Humbert put up 13 points against Staffordshire away. I think this one could be a really close game. It could be really low scoring, it could be really high scoring. I just don't know what these teams are like, but I think this one could be one to watch this week. The SFC 2 West, Cornish Sharks versus Bristol Apache. One way traffic.
You know, Cornish Sharks look like they've made some improvements on last year, but I still think Bristol will get the win here, and nothing as of yet has told me that this is going to be any different.
Yeah, I would agree. Gridiron Hub's game of the week, the Somerset Wyverns versus the Torbay Trojans. Wyverns, is it? I get it wrong every time. Do you think it's game of the week? I don't think you're going to be so sure, are you?
I'm not so sure. I mean, Somerset have had a few good results. They got a big result against Worcestershire Black Knights. But Torbay are trying to build on what they did last year, and I actually don't see this game being particularly close. I think Torbay win comfortably.
Okay. SFC2 South, Bournemouth Bobcats versus Swindon Storm. As we said, we didn't learn much about Swindon Storm. However, you think this one will be the best game of the week?
Yeah, I think this game's one to keep an eye on. I think Bournemouth have already shown that they're a good team. We speak about the good losses, as it were, against the Blitz. We don't know too much about Swindon, but I still think this could be a close game. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably going to be a high-scoring game, although that one shot me in the foot last week. But I think this one could be a really good game to watch.
Yeah, I think this one will go the way of the Bobcats. I can't see Swindon beating them, but that's just my opinion. SFC2 East, Maidstone Pumas versus Essex Spartans. Now, I know we said that Maidstone are making some improvements. They're not going to win this week. Essex Spartans will have too much from them, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're obviously making improvements. Their score lines are getting closer than they were in previous years. But Essex Spartans win this one.
Yeah, agreed. And then the last one, East Essex Sabres versus the Norwich Devils. We've not seen the Norwich Devils in a few weeks. They look decent, a decent outfit, and East Essex Sabres looks like they're struggling a bit this season. So I think the Norwich Devils win this one.
Yeah, I think the Norwich Devils win this one as well. On the terms of fashion sense, it's got to be one of the worst colour combinations this week. Between the Sabres wearing the Texas Longhorn orange and the Norwich Devils blue and yellow.
Yes.
It's not going to be easy on the eyes, even if the football is.
No. Again, last thing of the week, something a bit dumb. Now, we've all seen today that Edinburgh have been having a mic'd up player, which I think is brilliant for the sport. Really promotes our sport. Technically, it seems like it's against the rules, but my question would be, Division 2 doesn't have enough officials. Loads and loads of teams are getting let into the league or getting put into associate status within 5, 10, 20 miles of other established teams. Yet, let's make sure we tell off the guy for wearing a microphone to record what he's saying on the field.
I mean, as per the rules, yeah, I understand. And, when it comes to enforcing the rules, you can only go by what's written. It's a frustrating point.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other issues out there, and realistically, unless another team has an issue with this sort of thing, I've certainly enjoyed the mic'd up episodes and the two that we've had, and I would have liked to have seen more. So I hope they still continue to do it, even if it is for practice and scrimmage, just to see what goes on. I think it would have been good to carry on, but Bath have obviously made their decision. As
I said, it's not the fact that it's maybe wrong, it's the fact that there are more pressing issues that they could deal with other than this. Anyway, that's been Britball with the Breens episode 3. We hope you're enjoying. If you fancy getting in touch with us, then let us know on Facebook, and we'll do our best to get some stuff out to you. Thank you very much.